Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the initial gathering of Female Wave of Change Canada. I would first like to acknowledge you all for taking time out of your busy lives to be here. And I hope you're excited to learn more about Female Wave of Change and to learn more about how together we might create a better world, a more conscious, equitable, just, sustainable, and peaceful one. We believe that authentic feminine leadership holds the key to creating and building this better world, one that works for everyone. Our intention for this evening is to introduce you to Female Wave of Change, the global social movement, to share with you a little bit about our new organization, Female Wave of Change, our plans for the future, some accomplishments so far of the larger movement, and also share with you some benefits of joining us as we're just launching. I don't know about you, but I love being on the front end of something new. And so I'm hoping many of you do too, and we're hoping a number of you join us as members and founding members to launch this new organization and take it forward in Canada. For those of the folks who don't know me, my name is Pam Thompson, and I am the Ambassador for Canada of Female Wave of Change Global. And I'm really honored to be in this position. Female Wave of Change is a global social movement that began in January of 2017, so about 4 years ago. And it was founded by a woman from the Netherlands called Ingun Bol. And she founded it because she felt there was a real need to strengthen and increase the number of authentic feminine leaders in the world. And also, she was called to create a legacy and create a better world, one that works for everyone. Now, the story to that, can I ask somebody to mute? I feel like there's a little bit of something in the background, if you don't mind muting. Yes, so what happened is, Ingun worked in IT for a number of years, and she was very successful. However, when she went on leadership and management training, she felt that they really weren't very relevant to her as a woman. So she left corporate in 2003 and got into consulting, and for about 14 or so years did that. And then she thought, you know what, it's time to found this organization. I believe in this idea and this vision, and I want to do it. So she did it, and she changed her profile on LinkedIn with the intention that the organization would be for the Netherlands alone. And lo and behold, these women from all different parts of the world got in touch with her and said, Ingun, this sounds amazing. How can we get involved? So anyway, what happened is, the rest is history. And now 4 years later, there are now ambassadors and wave makers in more than 50 countries around the globe. Places like Namibia, South Africa, Qatar, Croatia, India, Germany, just like so many places, it's mind-boggling to me. And so how did I get involved? You might be curious about that. Well, I actually met Ingun on LinkedIn in 2018, and we ended up connecting and having a Skype call back then. And I really enjoyed the conversation, and we agreed, and she must have too. So we agreed to stay on each other's radar and support each other through social media. So that's what we did. And when I started my radio show in 2019, some of you know I had a radio show where I interviewed inspiring women leaders and change makers from around the world. I interviewed Ingun. So I learned even more about Female Wave of Change at that time and how much she'd progressed in the year that I had known her in the first place. So what about Ingun? What really impressed me about her? From the get-go, I was so impressed by her passion, by her dedication, by her vision, and by her big heart. She's got, an incredibly big heart. And since I've been a member since March, what happened is I was interviewed by Ingun and one of her board members, and they offered me Ambassador for Canada. And it took me about a week to make a decision because it was a big commitment, because one of the responsibilities of being an ambassador is to create a legal entity, and that varies from country to country. So you have to figure out what's the best one for you. So anyway, I launched Female Wave of Change and incorporated in December of 2020, so very recently. Anyway, all I can say is this organization has impressed me from the get-go. In the last 9 months or so that I've been involved, the number and the quality of interventions and achievements that we've had is quite remarkable. So this organization is not about the rhetoric. This is all about action and making a positive difference. And I'll share with you in a little while some of those key differences or key achievements that we've made over the last 9 months or so. So to share something more tangibly with you, I'm going to share a PowerPoint. And before I go there, I just also want to say that during COVID-19, it's been a really, really tough time for many people. And during that time, I've been so impressed by the camaraderie, by the warmth, by the sharing of all the folks, so many of the people in Female Wave of Change Canada. Many of their family members, and a number of them were diagnosed with COVID-19, and some of them died. Not the people who were part of the movement, but husbands, for example, or partners. So it was a very challenging and tough time, and the outpouring of support and caring from all the people was amazing. And that I thought was very notable for a network of people, many of whom have never met one-on-one. So I just wanted to share that to show you, the kind of group it is. So Female Wave of Change, as I mentioned before, is a global movement. And it unites women changing the world into a better place. Women from all walks of life. I've met women in their 20s from South Africa to women in their early 70s from the Netherlands, for example. Women from all walks of life who take responsibility for our own future, the future of the next generation and of the world. Female Wave of Change is a safe place where women can be their authentic selves, be economically empowered, and grow into leaders and change makers who shape the world. Together, we actively create a more sustainable world based on more human values, compassion, collaboration, and abundance. A world where we celebrate diversity and create equal opportunities for everyone. So I want to share a little bit about the structure of the global organization. We have a very small board, currently only 4 members. We also have what's called a circle of wise women, and it may surprise you and some men, because we believe that men can have feminine leadership qualities as well as women, and can also learn them. So we have several men in our circle of wise women. And this circle of wise women is really an advisory body of subject matter experts who are part of our global strategy team, of which I am one. So it's been amazing to be introduced to women and men who have been in radio, in television, who are AI experts, who are mining engineers, who are biologists, who are coaches, who are psychologists. It runs the gamut, the number of disciplines, as well as cultures and backgrounds these folks come from. Likewise, there are ambassadors. Many of us are ambassadors for countries, as I am, and we have the responsibility to create a legal entity and grow the network and the movement in our countries. That said, it's very organic. Ingun doesn't say you have to follow step A, B, C, and D. Her network and her organization has grown very organically. And as such, she enables us to be creative, which I really love. And that's why I also feel that in terms of our small board, who some of you will meet today, they're all on the call, they will be a part of it. And we really want to grow this movement with you folks and all the members who join us. So there's ambassadors for countries. There are also ambassadors for states. For example, in the United States, there's ambassadors now in only about 3 of the states, in Texas, in California, and I believe in New York. And then there's wave makers. I do love this metaphor of the wave. I hope you do too, creating this amazing ripple around the world. And wave makers are the people who get really involved. They're not ambassadors, but they could co-chair a committee or a pod that I'll share more with you about, or they just may be very, very active. So some of the key accomplishments to date. A big one has been designing and rolling out Women Leading in Change. And this is a 12-module group online leadership development program to support women in making impactful changes. Now, this program includes face-to-face, via Zoom group calls, as well as modules for content. And it has been designed and is being offered by women leaders from a variety of countries and cultures. Now they've just started their second one since about September. So they're trying to roll out now about every 3 to 4 months. And so stay tuned. And they usually have about 15 to 17 people. So you get very personalized attention from all the women who are leading, the facilitators, I would call them. We have another leadership development program called Reshape the Future, and it's aimed to empower and teach participants to become change agents by building on their inner talents, strengths, and capabilities. Now, that one actually hasn't yet rolled out. It was meant to roll out in April of 2020, and we know what happened around that time, so it's been put on hold for the moment. Another key accomplishment is the hosting of the first global conference, A Female Wave of Change, in Johannesburg in September 2019. And at that conference, a call to action on human rights was developed. There's also the design and implementation of impactful projects, and I really particularly like this one that taught poor African women traders financial literacy and supports them to secure mortgages so that they can eventually pay off and own their own homes, which some of you may know is amazing. When COVID-19 hit, we decided at the first strategy call I was on to open up all the things we do to the general public. So since April, we've offered complimentary webinars, workshops, coaching, and dialogue sessions, and continue to do so. In September, we had a global conference, a virtual global conference, where we launched Stories Matter. And this is a compilation of short stories with key messages from female wave of change ambassadors and wave makers, meant to inspire, motivate, and heal. And I was fortunate to have mine accepted. And what we had to do was submit stories that had key messages of 1,000 words or less. So you can obtain those. I think they're on Amazon now, but also from the parent site, which is femalewaveofchange.com. And a big accomplishment that we've made is to develop and disseminate what we call an official call to action to leaders around the world at all levels, aimed at reshaping the future and accelerating change for a better world. Now, I was fortunate to be part of the small group that put that together, and I feel I learned so much from being part of it, and I'm really excited about how it's moved forward. In that document, there are 5 pillars, and they are economy, education, environment, health, and humanity. And what I'm going to do now is show you a video of our founder, Ingun Bol, and she is going to share not only a bit about Female Wave of Change, but also go into more detail about this document, Reshaping the Future and Accelerating Change for a Better World. So just give me a minute while I get that up for us.
Dear global leaders, decision makers, and global citizens at all levels of society. Female Wave of Change invites you to join us to reshape the future and accelerate change for a better world. Female Wave of Change is a global movement established to raise awareness and contribute to reshape the future by creating a legacy to be proud of. A more human, more conscious, more sustainable, and more connected world for all. 3.5 years after our start, we are now represented in over 40 countries, on 5 continents and guide women worldwide and at all levels of society to step into their authentic feminine leadership and to catalyze change. We believe that we all have to take responsibility and that now more than ever, we need to support a more feminine, more human, values-based approach in leadership. We believe that with the right mindset, the right heart set, and the right soul set, we can change the narrative. COVID-19 came unexpectedly, and it made us more conscious of the things that really matter. Let us make sure that lives, jobs, businesses, and opportunities were not lost in vain. With women from all over the world, Female Wave of Change has defined 5 key areas we intend to work on while moving forward. Let us acknowledge humanity as the core of our decision-making and actions. We are one human race. We are equal regardless of our gender, the color of our skin, our cultural background, religion, our financial situation, the country where we live, our sexual orientation, or our disabilities. Let us embrace diversity, act from our hearts, and work on creating a peaceful, safe, and fair society for all. Let us focus on education as our most powerful weapon, which we can use to change the world. Together, we can make good education available worldwide, to embrace the uniqueness of each individual child, offer them the space to develop into their authentic personality, and stimulate using their full potential. Let us provide lifelong learning opportunities and empower authentic future leaders. Let us move from illness care to healthcare and prevention. Let's focus our actions and measures on prevention by promoting and supporting health and well-being, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Let's provide those who are mentally or physically challenged with the care they need, regardless of their background or current situation. Let us redefine success and bring it back to a human level. Let us bring it back to well-being, health, happiness, purpose, and social impact, and create new business models to support it. Let us create new opportunities together, opportunities based on a positive impact on society, a positive impact on the environment, and support people with the necessary knowledge and resources. Let us act from the awareness that we are the keepers of the planet that belongs to future generations. There is no planet B, and we have to give Mother Nature the opportunity to heal. We need to leave future generations a planet where they can live healthy and happily ever after. It is time for a global awakening. There is no more you versus me. There is only we to catalyze positive change. We have to act now. Female Wave of Change invites you to join us to reshape the future. We are here as leaders for positive change. Remember, we are the ones we have been waiting.
4, I cut her off. Sorry about that. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So give me a moment here, and we're now going to move to a breakout. And I am going to find Barb, because Barb is actually our very capable new board secretary. So Barb's going to lead us through the breakouts. So I have to make her a host so she can do that, which I have done. And I'll just share with you a little bit about what's going to happen. I'll just set up the breakouts for us. So we're going to have about 10 minutes in the breakout sessions. And we're going to have approximately 4 people in each one. And we encourage you to choose a timekeeper. And we're giving everybody about 2 minutes to speak. We're proposing that the person with the longest hair start, so you don't have to spend too much time thinking about it. Each person state their name and where they live, and then answer the question. And you may want to write this down. Which of the 5 pillars, economy, education.
Okay, let me go back. Okay. Hang on. Just
Barb? I'm not sure everybody got the question. I'm just going to which of the 5?
Yeah, what happened is, yeah, when I lost Pam and I came on, the breakout rooms started before I wanted them to start. Okay, so everybody, they're going to close in 20 seconds.
Okay, then, well, we'll wait until they close and I will just tell you.
So everyone will be back. And yeah, good dry run. But here's how they go. Here's what we wanted to do in the breakout rooms. Everybody, so when you come all back to the main session, which you're going to do in just a few seconds, I can see the countdown. What we wanted to discuss in each room is, in each room, we want everyone just to introduce yourself quickly, what your name, your location, and then which of the 5 pillars that Pam was talking about most resonate with you, maybe your own gifts, talents, passions. So the 5 pillars were the economy, education, environment, health, and humanity. So you can just quickly share which one resonates with you. It's just going to be 10 minutes in a room. So, excuse me, about 2 minutes per person. And if someone would be the timekeeper, that'll make sure everyone has an opportunity to share. So we're just going to designate the person with the longest hair in your group can keep the time and start the process. So I am going to yeah, set it up for 10 minutes. And
may I just add, which ones resonate with you and why?
Yeah.
Which ones resonate?
Can you repeat the third one? Okay, okay. Great. Okay.
Economy.
All right, I'm going to open the rooms and I will call you all back after 10 minutes. Okay, here we go.
Jessica had a question. Okay, it's all right. Great. Maybe there's 3 of us. That's great. We'll take them. Great. So yeah, so who's got the longest hair?
Probably, I think Sharon.
I think Sharon. So I think Sharon goes, who wants to be the timer? Does anybody want to be the timer?
Supposed to be the timer that is the longest hair, right?
Oh no, that's the person who gets to start first. The timer can be anybody.
Oh, I see. Well, I've got my phone here.
Okay, are you okay to do that?
I'm set to go. Yeah, I'm set to go.
Okay, awesome.
And first?
And the question is, which of the 5 pillars resonate with you and why? Yes.
Okay. So, well, first, I'm Sharon Hall, and I'm in Annapolis, Royal Nova Scotia. My background is as a business coach and consultant, and prior to that, I had many years in government and senior management in HR, communications, lots of skills in behind my coaching. So my particular interest is the economy, partly because it's talking about success, defining success in a new way. As a coach, I've been doing it since full-time since 2007. And I'm getting really jaded about the international world of coaching, which is all about make more money, make your 6 figures, make your 7 figures, or that business is all about just financial, only financial success. And as a coach, I work with both heart and strategic mind, with planning and with bringing up from the depth the issue beneath the issue, and finding out that often it's us that's in the way of our own success. So I'm really passionate about watching human transformation take place in front of my eyes. And I really believe as well, because I'm also a former executive director for Status of Women Council in the Northwest Territories. And I've seen the difference it makes when women get financially empowered through creating their own businesses. And literally, I saw women getting their own house with their own mortgage and stopping family violence because they'd been able to do that in their family and say, I don't need you financially anymore. I need you for love. So let's have a loving relationship and we can create a family harmony together. And for me, that's a really positive way of having feminine leadership that is not against men, but is about the wholeness of all people. So there we go. That's my...
Great, thank you. Sharon, do you want, the other Sharon, do you want to go next?
Sure, sure.
Oh, I'm timing.
Thanks, Sharon. You got a lot in 2 minutes. That was so awesome. Our company is called Sound Wellness, and the Sound Wellness Institute is the newer version of that for the last 3 to 4 years. And through the Sound Wellness Institute, we have the first competency level certification programs for holistic practitioners in Canada. And we're excited about that. Also, we have, our programs have been nationally sanctioned by the Natural Health Practitioners of Canada Association. So the first time in Canada for a sound modality, also a first time in Canada that a person with our level 2 training can apply for membership in the professional association. There's been a dearth of acceptance with sound therapy and sound healing with professional practitioner associations. So we created a bunch of firsts in our first few years with the Institute. Also, we've been asked in some of my corporate speaking to create corporate wellness programs. So they focus around emotional well-being and mental well-being, which is so incredibly important these days. Seeing some of the latest statistics come out of Health Canada and Mental Health Canada, it's very concerning. So we are just about ready to launch what we had to pivot, our live programs, all on video. We have a little bit more and we'll be launching that over the next month or two, and to get it out to more companies who wish to create a different relationship. And here too, as far as the pillars, it's health and wellness, it's education, which results in a better economy because the people are cared for. And so I guess, yeah, thanks, Sharon.
You can finish your sentence because there's 3 of us, so we'll probably have a little bit more time. So finish.
They all interconnect as far as what I see with what we offer and what we can serve with.
Okay, thank you.
I can
Sure.
just 2 seconds there. One, that would the health part and wellness would be my second choice. And just if you've heard of Ashana, I know her really well through a joint coaching program we did together. So she's famous in the States for crystal bowls. Pam, do you want to go?
Yes, this is always a difficult one for me to choose one. And because I've been really involved in this, I'm going to choose environment and health. And as you've both rightly pointed out, it's very hard to say there's just one because they're all deeply interconnected, some more than others. However, more and more, I've noticed my background, I've been in the health sector for many years. I've been an international consultant, managed big international development projects, written docs in the health sector. And, I've done a lot more from a public health perspective. That said, my work, I've been a coach, and my work the last few years is really focused on change and helping people to embrace change versus resist it. and what that looks like in your body, your mind, your relationships, and also the link to spirit. Anyway, I am based in Victoria, in case Sharon Carden didn't know that now. And I used to be in Calgary, and then after that I was in the Okanagan, but now I'm in Victoria. So I really see the link between environment and health, because I notice more and more, and I write about this and teach my clients about it, the positive impacts of nature on our bodies, our minds, our relationships, and our connection with spirit. And I feel that it would be really fun to combine nature retreats for women and also for kids with, teaching them environmental stuff, teaching them about nature, but also making them aware of the links. When you're stressed, you can hug a tree, so teaching people how to cope with these times of unprecedented change and uncertainty, how to cope by going out in nature and expressing themselves in nature and connecting with nature and learning more about it. So that's kind of where my brain is going these days.
They are so interconnected, and we have more to talk about that. I've got some contacts for you.
Yeah, so thank you. We have a little bit of more time, so because there's only 3 of us. So if you have something else you'd like to share, feel free.
Why don't I'll time 4 minutes so we're not late, or I guess they'll just dump us out, but
They will.
Maybe
They give us a minute. They usually give us a minute. I'll let you know.
I didn't get where you are, Sharon.
I'm in Calgary, Alberta.
Okay. Yeah, okay. And
we actually have 6 minutes and a bit remaining. She must have given us extra time, or we were really speedy.
We have a good timer.
I'll put it on for 6 minutes then. This whole link between health and wellness, in my own background, I also have 2 healing alternative therapy modalities that I bring into it. And, the human spirit comes into how are we going to do business and the economy differently if we don't have people who are well in their being, bringing forward businesses so that they become more enlightened leaders and they become more positive. So I really get that connection. And I mean, the environment and nature, it's one of the challenges here right now is it's been about 7 below. And it's not motivating for me to get outside after having spent so many years in Victoria, because I'm a recent transplant. That's how I know Pamela. But go ahead, the other 2. And
well, I just wanted to follow up, if I may, on what you've said. One of the things that I'm writing about and thinking about more, and certainly I've been inspired being involved with Female Wave of Change, is looking at authentic feminine leadership and not only touting the horn about what authentic feminine leadership is and does, but showing that the time is ripe for it to combine with the left brain, more masculine bits. And we've got so much data now from women leaders who have come forth during COVID-19 and been so much better at responding effectively and with empathy. And so they've made people feel safe and calmer, and the numbers, and they've taken action very quickly, like Jacinda Ardern and even and our Dr. Bonnie in BC, for example, And there's also some really interesting research that I read about through the Harvard Business Review recently, saying there was a big study done pre-COVID-19 on women leaders and showing that they were more effective during times of crisis than male leaders. And then what they did is they did interviews of a smaller sample of those same groups within the first 3 months of COVID-19, and the data, the significance was even greater between the women and the men.
That's fascinating, Pamela.
I think we know that, but it's really good to have data that says that. And I think part of it, this is just my own thing, I think it's because women have to be flexible. We bear children. We often have to, like the fact that biologically we bear children means we have to be more flexible. Do you know what I mean? And if you're more flexible, you can be more understanding. you know, and that's that. I think that's why not all women are emotionally intelligent, but we lean toward being more emotionally intelligent than a lot of men do because of the way we've been socialized and also because of our biology.
I'm fascinated with the female brain, and I've been studying things about it for years because we bring things to the table, and they've actually done studies that most women, 95%, have somewhere on the spectrum of bigger ability to cross brain and do both left and right brain thinking, where men have a harder time. That's why that old 50s joke of the wife being at the door with the martini to give him transition time from the cerebral work to the emotional work of being in the home was considered so important. And they've actually done tests on it that are just hilarious. And in fact, we watched a program when my son was 7 and we were in England. And at the end of watching this program, he turned to me because they had all these men trying to do things that women just take for granted. And at the end of it, he looked at me with this kind of wistful voice and he says, "Mommy, are girls smarter than boys?"
That's a
We're
great
getting
story.
shut down in
Sharon.
47 seconds. We're being asked to go back, just so you know.
Yeah, I see that. So
Thanks, everybody.
anyway, I think we bring a lot to the table that we're finally getting a chance to bring.
Mhm.
And our collaborative abilities too. I'm using that all the time in my work with bringing community together in this small town, and it's working. I've had people say, you know, people that didn't used to get along, there's lots of small p politics here, but they're getting along because we're collaborating.
Fabulous. Yeah, I do that. So much collaborating too. It's the way to, it seems to be very much the way of the future, doesn't it?
We gotta
Yeah.
go. Great to chat with you
Great.
both.
This is
Very
exciting.
stimulating.
For you, would any of you like to share just while we're waiting for people to return?
It was great. I thought there was,
Oh, hey, great. Hi, Brenda.
yeah, I'm here. 2 minutes was quite a bit to learn a lot about people and what they're doing, and very interested to see the pillars that people choose and the reasons behind it. I think it was an awesome experience.
Beautiful. And anyone else like to share something they experienced in the breakout room?
I'll go.
Mhm.
One thing was we're talking about how, you know, the pillars all are interwoven. You can't exactly separate them, but sure you can, you know, start your focus on one, but then you'll end up, you know, touching into other components or other pillars like education, environment, health, and humanity are pretty much what we were talking about. Of course, we'd need money anyways.
Well, of course, we need
To do any of it.
we need our economists to come on now. Yeah, but that's beautiful. Yeah, that was the theme. I was in the same breakout room with Marie. We're colleagues and friends, very similar mindset and work. And yeah, there was a definite health and humanity theme in our breakout room, and also education, but a specific kind of education that Marie was talking about, interwoven with that, you know, Indigenous education, mind, body, spirit education, but again, all tied in and woven into that health and humanity. Anyway, Pam, everyone's back from the breakout room now. I'm going to hand it back. I'm going to hand it back to you.
Okay, well, we can have one more share. Let's have one more share. Does anybody want to share a highlight or a takeaway that they got from their group?
I do.
Okay, go, Michelle.
I thought it was really good. So our conversation evolved to inclusivity, and you know, right now when we look at the people who are sitting around the table, virtual table right now, it seems to be representative of a certain segment, right, middle class-ish. And so when we think about what the future holds and the purpose of Female Wave of Change, and you know, how do we include and create space for those women that are, you know, working class or more vulnerable? How do we, because you know, that's a challenge in and of just for them to create space in their own lives, and then also for us to be able to get their attention and to increase the awareness that we're out here to help support them. So I thought that was a really interesting conversation that we had.
Well, thanks for sharing, everybody. Unless there's something burning, we'll go on. Does somebody have something burning? If it's really burning you want to share? Otherwise, we'll move. We're good? Okay, I just wanted to say that I find the discussions with Female Wave of Change folks very intellectually stimulating. So for you folks who want some stimulation as well as to take some action, I think you might really enjoy the group, because at the global level, I've had some amazing conversations, and it does tweak you because of the diversity. And I find there's always so much more richness when you have a diverse group, right? It's like I've facilitated for many years. And if you have everybody from government, from the same background, worked in similar positions throughout the same organization, you don't tend to come up with very creative solutions. But if you get people from different disciplines, backgrounds, cultures, whatever, right? That's when the richness comes through. So anyway, thanks for sharing, everybody. So I am going to share my screen yet again. And I'm going to share with you some future plans that we have for Female Wave of Change Canada. So right now we have a number of plans, and they are to hold monthly virtual meetings, probably an hour and a half, with one or more guest speakers on topics of interest. And these topics of interest are to come from the members, people who join, including the opportunity to engage with speakers and with other participants through breakouts. So we want to have at least one, possibly two breakout sessions at every virtual meeting that we have, because part of this is to network. The primary purpose is not for business. That said, that you will develop, definitely people develop business linkages, and collaborative stuff goes on here. Create 5 pods based on pillars in the call for action for leaders that was shown in the video more deeply. Now, I have decided I'd like to call them pods rather than pillars, because when I think of a pod, I think of those milkweed pods we used to gather as kids, you know, and when you break out and open a milkweed pod, you know, they have all that white stuff, all the edges, and they open up and they disperse and they float all over the place. So that's how I see us, as like those seeds and those pods breaking open. So I see creating 5 pods, one for each of the pillars that we've talked about: economy, environment, education, and such like, and 2 co-facilitators for each pod. And those co-facilitators, at least one of them needs to be somebody who has expertise in the area. So if it's the environment, it could be someone who's got expertise or background in climate change, for example. And the co-facilitator could be someone who's really passionate about, say, the environment, and they really want to learn a lot more about it, and they want to stretch themselves. Maybe that's the other thing, is this is an opportunity, if you haven't done much facilitation, to learn to be, you know, a facilitator and to co-facilitate, to share it with somebody else. So that's now the thought, and I'm open to suggestions of other ways to do it, but that's right now the thought. We're going to do a short member survey so we get a handle on who becomes part of our group and what your needs are, and also what the expertise is, because we'd like to start and showcase our members. So when we have our monthly virtual meetings, we'd like to have our members speak, for example, and showcase them and provide honoraria, you know. So, you know, I really feel that it's important to pay some money to people when they come and speak. I don't believe that we should be doing everything for free in this world. But anyway, so the member survey is going to come out. We haven't set a date on it yet, but just to let you know that that's one of the plans that we have. So we tap into your needs and also your expertise and your thoughts to create initiatives and programs based on the member needs related to the 5 pillars. So that could look like some leadership workshops, for example. A particular area of interest to mine is helping women step up and into leadership who don't feel like they're leaders, but they really are, and they just need some more confidence to do that and some more skills, for example. And it could be, that's just an example, for example. And the other thing is forming partnerships with other like-minded organizations to create events and initiatives. Female Wave of Change is all about partnerships. And there are groups who are doing a lot for women and girls in Canada and internationally. Seroptimus, for example, comes to mind. There's also other groups doing work with the environment. So the idea would be as well that to form partnerships with other organizations and create events and initiatives. So there's a lot of, I think, very exciting things that are possible. And I'm also, as I said, really excited to hear from members what their ideas are. Because as you probably know, one of the qualities of an authentic feminine leader is creativity. And I know that a whole lot of you folks have a lot of it. So we wanna learn from everyone. So now I would like to hand the floor over to Michelle Rogers, and she is our very capable new board treasurer. So Michelle, she's going to share with you the 2 types of membership we're offering, a little bit about her experience as well.
Thank you, Pam. So it was a great honor to have Pam reach out to me to ask if I'd be a part of this incredible initiative. And Pam and I met a number of years ago, and she was instrumental in helping me start a journey of both personal and professional growth and development. And as a woman committed to walking into my authentic self, I was really excited and I was honored when Pam asked me to join the board of Female Wave of Change. So tonight we've heard about the origin of Female Wave of Change, it being an international organization designed to support the development of women all over the world, aimed at changing the world for the betterment of humanity. That's a lofty goal. And this online leadership development program, it guides women from all over the world and in all walks of life on a transformational journey to step into their authentic selves and start new ventures and be catalysts for change at all levels and share their voices. So Female Women of Change has finally come to Canada, and we have a lot of amazing things planned. However, it's important to understand that Female Wave of Change Canada is part of an international, it's part of an international organization. We don't receive any financial support, which is why we have 2 types of memberships. And those will allow us to keep the lights on and provide various local and regional and national events and projects. So if we want to flip to the next slide. Yeah, thanks. So the benefits of a standard membership include the opportunity to engage in a global community of like-minded women from diverse backgrounds and cultures to not only champion authentic female leadership, but also to be supported in our own personal journey of embracing our authentic self. In addition to this community of support and development, there's an opportunity to contribute to impactful events and projects through the lens of the 5 pillars of economy, education, environment, health, and humanity on a local, regional, and national level, as well as receive membership pricing for various events and courses. You can go to the next slide. Thanks. As a founding member, you have the opportunity to apply to lead a pod in your area of expertise or interest, as well as collaborate with similar pods in countries around the globe and potentially speak in regional or global stages. As a founding member, there'll also be an opportunity to become a mentor to a group of influencers. If you haven't mentored before, it's an incredibly rewarding experience, which stretches you in ways you can't imagine. And finally, there's an opportunity to contribute to the Female Wave of Change startup as being a part of a founding member. So we've all gathered here. Yeah, thank you. We've all gathered here tonight because we share a common bond. Our passion and commitment to being our best selves and in turn having a positive impact on the world. However, strong women need support too. And if you imagine an accomplished athlete, an athlete has the skills and talent, but has a group of people supporting them. So they have coaches and nutritionists and trainers and family and friends, as well as their teammates to support them. And it's through this community that the athlete's able to perform at their peak and beyond. And this is what the Female Wave of Change is designed to do. It's a community of local, national, and international women who want to develop themselves personally and professionally so that we can make the world a better and more humane place. So we're asking you to join us to reshape the future, and together we can make the world a better place. So I invite you to sign up at the website, the femalewaveofchangecanada.com. The standard membership is $50 Canadian annually, and the founding membership is $100, which includes a first-year annual membership. And when you sign up, please check the box that says sign me up for a newsletter. And afterwards, you'll receive an email that just confirms that as well. So now I will turn things back over to Pam for closing remarks.
Okay.
Michelle, I just want to mention that the website, if they didn't catch it on the written there, it's not Female Wave of Change, it's FWOC.
Right.
.com. So just in case people were just writing it down.
HTTPS. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay.
Did I get it right, Brenda.com?
I don't know. I'm not looking.
There we go. It would help if I sent it so people could see. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. And I just wanted, on that note, I wanted to acknowledge Brenda for all the hard work she's done on our landing page. When you see it, I think you'll really appreciate it. So I wanted to acknowledge Brenda, who is our vice chair. And we didn't know whether she was going to be with us tonight because she has a daughter who's just ready to pop.
Yeah. 9 days past ready to pop. Yes, I'm on the delivery team. So as soon as I get buzzed, I'm out of here.
So anyway, just to say, so now what I'd like to do is, before I go to close, I'd like to open the floor for questions. So do people have questions? And it's probably, I'm just wondering if we should, let's put them in the chat. And I don't know, Brenda, do you want to help, or Barb, do you want to help in terms of the
I think
chat?
we can put it in, but I think we're a small enough group that people can just raise their hand.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. So if you
hear
can,
it in their own voice.
yeah, okay, that works. So does anyone, if you have a question, just put your hand up and wave and I'll scroll through here. Feel free to ask any questions you may have. We don't have any questions?
I think Patsy had a question. Did you raise your hand, Patsy? Or were you just?
Patsy's muted.
I'm muted. The
Yeah.
casualty of the day, right? Yes, I'm just wondering whether you're looking for more members on this side of the country, because it seems like most people who are here tonight are Calgary West.
That's a very good question. Of course we are, Patsy. Just so happens that many of us live in the West or have lived in the West for a while, but I'm actually originally from Ontario, and I did spend a year at Dalhousie University many years ago. So
Right.
I've been in Halifax as well.
I just wanted to know, I'm not the only woman who lives here.
No, in fact, and this is the first gathering, and just to let you know, when we have, I might as well share it now, just because it seems to be part of the conversation. Our inaugural meeting will be on International Women's Day, which is March the 8th, I believe. And we're going to hold it at the same time, 4:30 Pacific, and we're encouraging everybody to bring friends, right? Because it's like you start small and then it grows. And of course, this is going to be a national organization. And down the road, I envision there may be regional ambassadors. Do you know what I'm saying? But right now we're national. And we're going to grow. And then, it's like nothing's been prescribed for me in terms of the number of ambassadors in the country or whatever. I love that. It's very organic. So it really depends. And we could get a huge cluster of folks in the East there with folks like you, and also Sharon in Nova Scotia. I tell you.
Great.
No, there's certainly a lot. I'm sure there'd be lots of others who'd be enthusiastic. So
Okay, then, so now you have the landing page, so you'll have sent, yes, and who's
I think I saw Kim
Yes, Kim.
Sibbett. Kim, you had your hand up? Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, just a question. The monthly meetings, are they global meetings or are they just Canadian or regional, or how does that work?
That's a very good question. The monthly meetings for Female Wave of Change Canada are Canadian, are Canadian ones, okay?
Okay,
But
okay.
that said, there will be an opportunity. We do have global conferences every year and people can participate. And we had the first ones were virtual this year. So I envision moving forward, there will be an opportunity for people, even when they go back to being in person, for people to go in person, wherever they are, but also there'll probably be virtual sessions as well.
Excellent. Okay, good. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Sharon?
Yeah. So I'm really interested in the founding member category. And I'm just wondering though, I live in a very rural part of Nova Scotia. So leading a pod in my area, that might be challenging to get started with. So would I get support if I wanted to do that, to figure out how I'm gonna make that happen when I'm not an original Nova Scotian, which can sometimes be a barrier and sometimes not. They have an expression here. They call people CFAs, come from a ways. So,
and you're away probably for 3 generations at least. Like,
yeah,
I lived in Nova Scotia.
I
taught at St. FWOC for a year. So I lived in Antigonish as well. Yes.
I hope so. You've got United Empire Loyalist heritage.
Good question. Great question, Sharon. Here's the thing. Initially, my vision of the pod is for it to be a national pod. Okay. So initially it'll start national in terms of, say, the environment or economy, whatever it is. So it'll include people from all across Canada. And then what happens is we might pilot something in one part, or it might be a virtual pilot. I'm open to possibility, but right now I don't think you should worry that all the burden would be on you. And if we go in the future to regional ones, I think we'll have the experience to draw on from doing stuff at the national level. That's my feeling.
Yep.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it really helps. One of my primary interests is the economy, and this is the most economically depressed province in Canada, pretty much, along with the rest of the Maritimes. So there could be some real economic things that would be supported, a good thing to support here, along with, education and wellness. So, yeah.
Okay, great.
Very good.
So I've got maybe one last question here for you ladies.
Sure, Jessica.
Yeah, so I'm also very interested in the founding membership. I think that really wonderful, and to be able to be grassroots part of such an amazing movement, right? Awesome. Can you put into context what the includes first year annual? Is that meaning the membership that's the non-Canadian? Are those 2 different memberships? Is that what that means?
No, that's a good question. No, what that means is if we're calling it standard member, it's $50 a year to join right now. Okay.
Oh,
so
I see.
when you're a founding member, that includes the $50 plus it's an extra 50 that you're helping to help fund us, if you know what I'm saying. Help with our initial infrastructure. Yeah.
Good.
Anybody else?
I have a question. So
Leanne?
it's Leanne. So if you say become a standard member and then you want to upgrade to a founding member at a later date, you can do that?
That's a really good question.
One we haven't considered.
I guess my question would be, why would one want to do that? And you don't have to say you, but you just put it out there. Why would one want to do that?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I guess because some thoughts come to my head, but I don't want to plant any seeds for you.
Maybe I want to see what it's more about more and get into it, and then be more interested in becoming a founding member after a while.
There you go. Well, I think that's an option. I mean, it might be a little bit funny on Well, yeah, we could work it out. You'd probably buy 2 standard memberships and we call you a founding member. You know, these things with these payment things. But yeah, no, I think that's a really good question, Leanne. And yeah, certainly, I think we'd be open to that. Obviously, we'd like, some founding members in the beginning for sure, but.
And is that a yearly, the founding members, that's a yearly amount?
That's a really good question. We haven't, as a board, we haven't made a final decision on that. We've only met once as a board, right? This organization was incorporated December 7th. We had our first board meeting January 6th, and this is our first gathering. So it's in really early days, but we need to think about that further. Do you think that's a good idea, Leanne?
I don't know.
On the spot here.
I think we had, in the benefits, we had talked about it being $50 a year and $100 a year.
Yeah.
So it was an annual membership. What we never discussed really was what happens if somebody, like, when does it roll over? Does it roll over January 1st every year? And if you join in January, you get 12 months.
We haven't just,
December?
I think it's going, we have to talk about that finally right now. Yeah, we haven't done a policy on that, but my feeling is it'll be calendar year. Just makes it easier. Yeah, because we're still in January, so it makes it. That's my call on it right now, but we hadn't officially got a policy on it yet.
I think Marie has a question, Pam.
I'm just thinking, as you're sort of wondering, is it a year, or when does it start and when does it end as far as membership? I was thinking, would it make sense to just have a look and see what other groups have done, the ones that have been doing it for a little while, just get a sense of how it's being done in other places, and then say, because they will know what works best by now.
Yeah, that's a good point. I got to tell you that in terms of the other countries, their models are quite different from ours.
Okay, so everyone just creates their
Everybody just, and we may be the only one who are doing monthly meetings, other than I'm on the global strategy team, so we have monthly meetings, but in terms of the countries, not necessarily so, because certain African countries, they don't have good bandwidth. So they, it's a good question. I mean, we've been with different organizations, I think, but a number of us, so we can look at sort of what we think has worked in the past with them. It's a good point. So thanks for raising it, Marie. Kim, did you want to say something?
No, it's just if you're doing it annually, everybody joins in January. People that want to join in August, it must be a prorated amount then.
Well, we'll have to see about that. Yeah, we'll have to see.
The problem with that isn't the payment, it's the administration.
Yeah.
Right.
You monitor that. So that's the part that we haven't really thought about, because we haven't got a budget for administrative costs. And
Well, it's kind of fun. I think it's a great idea, and I would probably go as a founding member for sure. So I think it's kind of interesting. I'd like to see it get started.
Well, thanks, Kim. Appreciate your
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
Anybody else got a question?
I've got a comment.
Okay.
Just on those that are, as I'm going to put my business coach hat on, or my life coach hat on, and say, if you're thinking that you might want to be a founding member, but you're wanting to sort of wait, I'm going to challenge you to say, in your heart, maybe deep down, being a founding member is really where you belong. And women tend to hesitate and second guess themselves. And so I'm going to just say, really reach deep and see if you want to seize the moment and just go for it.
Like that.
Thanks, Sharon. Anybody else before we close? Well, it doesn't look like, I don't see any other hands. So I would, on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight and for the rich discussion that we've had. I'm really excited and continue to be even more passionate about what we're doing. And I really hope that a number of you choose to join us, because I'd love to get to know you better, and I'd love to create some amazing things with you. So just to reinforce, our next inaugural meeting, if you will, is going to be on, I believe it's a Monday, March the 8th at 4:30 Pacific. So that's 5:30 Mountain and 7:30 Eastern. So yeah, so just so you know, and when you sign up, as we said, just make sure that you check the sign up sign me up for the newsletter box when you're checking out, and you will then get something. It's a, what do you call it? Two opt-ins. So then you should get an email, and then you have to confirm your subscription so that we can send you out ongoing information. We're not going to bombard you with stuff, but we'll be able to tell you when the next meeting is and if something exciting is coming up from the global group and all these kinds of things. Did you want to add something, Brenda?
I do. I want to say kudos, Pamela, our first meeting, and we ended up 3 minutes early. Gotta love that.
Thanks very much, everybody. And great to see you all. And thanks for your active participation. Thank you, Jen, for your lovely heart. Back at you.
Bye, ladies. Nice meeting you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.